The time and energy is a sacrifice, no doubt. No doubt.
Hmm.
It absolutely is. But you can gain a proficiency if it becomes one of your values to do what I'm saying, to recognize people's humanity, to recognize truth, to recognize people's ignorance and not shame them for it, but be open to accepting people where they're at. And if you start living like that, ultimately you can gain a proficiency whereby it doesn't take that much time and energy. It's just part of your value system and the way that you live and the way that you exist. And what people do with that is up to them. So it's not like you're giving away your time and energy because you can cut it off. You know, if someone is rejecting you, even though you're being that way, which happens to me all the time,
Hmm.
that's on them. That's their choice. And I let them have
Yeah.
their choice. Like, that's your choice. But a lot of people, I think you'll find, are very receptive to someone who is being open to what they don't know and willing to communicate with them about that in a way that's not shaming them or making them feel like, like they're stupid or something, but just letting them know, like, oh yeah, a lot of like one way I do it all the time, Quincy, is I'll tell people, oh yeah, I used to also not know this, because that's oftentimes true. Like,
Yeah.
we're all ignorant at a certain point of things that we then come to know, right? And so I'll tell them about my ignorant past self. And then I'll tell them what allowed me to come into knowledge. And telling them that story of growth, it makes them realize, oh, I could do that too, you know? And I do that a lot when I teach math. So all I'm saying is that you're right, okay, in the fact that it does take time and energy. I'm not even going to pretend that that's not the case. It does. But
Yeah. It
at a
does.
certain point, I think it's worth it. And I think that the more that you do it, the more you see how worth it is. But if you never do it, and if you stay in the realm of like, oh, I'm not giving my time and energy for these other people who are ignorant, you're basically denying their humanity and your own.
Am I though?
In my opinion, it's just my opinion. It's one man's opinion, but like it's just what I've learned from
No,
communicating.
I see what you're saying. I mean, deny. I'm not. I don't think it. I don't think I'm denying their humanity. It's just that uh, it, I see what you're saying, but denying them their humanity sounds very harsh, man.
It sounds harsh, but like ultimately,
Sound
if you treat someone like I feel like everybody wants to be treated a certain way in their ignorance. There's nobody who wants to be shamed for being ignorant. Like, it is not a good feeling to be someone talking down to you. Like, think about those white liberals, like whether they were right or wrong, right? In their mind they're
hmm.
right, right? And so like they're talking down to you, you hated that feeling. You hated that you got angry, you got frustrated. It changed your whole way of thinking, and like it changed what you were doing to a certain extent. Like you said, you start writing articles, you start doing all this stuff, right? And
Yeah.
so yeah,
Hmm.
obviously that had a big impact on you. What kind of impact would it have had if people tried to understand where you were coming from instead of trying to talk down to you? I think that could have had a significant
Would have
impact.
been 1,000% different. That would have, in my mind, that would have made them different people. You
Right.
know,
Right. Instead of people who were denying you for the person that you were and the experience that you had, it would have made them people who were open to that. That would have made them different. That would have made you different in reaction. It would have changed the entire situation and the result. And so, that's all I'm saying. I'm not really. When I say deny humanity, you're right. It does sound harsh, but like that's all I really mean is that like
yeah,
let's
yeah.
recognize that we're all the same here in that regard. It's part of human nature to be ignorant, and we all don't want to be shamed for our ignorance. So let's treat people like we would want to be treated if we were in the reverse situation, of not understanding there are black people from Jackson, Mississippi who don't have to think about race, who didn't think about race that much, and who are just trying to get theirs, and they have their goals, and they don't want to be looked at as some kind of a victim who needs help from some kind of white liberal, and recognize me as such, as a person who thinks that. And let's start from where you're at. And so that's what I try to do with the show too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
talk to people who are raised in conservative white towns, who learned white supremacist ideas. You know, I talk to people who are raised in black towns who learn black inferiority ideals. I talk to people who grew up in the suburbs who never thought about race at all and don't really know much about it. And
Mm-hmm.
in all those different scenarios, I never try to say, "Oh, you're a white supremacist. You're a bad person." You know, I don't try to say, "Oh, like you got a victim mentality. You need to do this or that." I don't say, "Oh, like you're ignorant about race. That's like you should have been trying to learn more. What have you been doing?" You know, I don't judge these people. I just meet them where they're at. I tell them where I'm at, and then what people do with that is up to them. Okay, like I'm not in control. I don't need to force people to do something or change their mind or anything like that. What people choose to do is up to them. But how I present and what I choose to do is up to me. And I like to encourage other people to consider that. How do you want to show up for other people? How do you want to show up for yourself? Because ultimately I'm doing it for myself. Okay? I show up that way because those are my values that I've chosen for myself. And
Yeah.
however people take those values, that's really up to them.
Got it. Got it.
Thanks for watching. For access to the full-length conversation and all of the 2-hour-long unedited conversations that I've had on race, click the support link in the description below. Thanks for your support and see you next time.